Hello and welcome back to the Chakra Vision podcast. And today we've got Benjamin Smallbone with us on the other side. How are you doing?
Good, thank you, man.
Yeah, you
Just had a
smiling?
lovely, yeah. Oh, yes, it's man, it's a beautiful day.
It is, isn't it?
Sun is
Sunny.
shining.
Yeah, this week is meant to
I'm
be
here with my
boiling.
brother. What's that?
This week, I think it's meant to be boiling.
Yeah, I've heard it's gonna be really hot. Yeah, I
Yeah,
cannot wait.
yeah, me too. I'm thinking of going tanning a little, a little more than I am.
Oh, that'd be yeah. I think I'll look good on you, mate.
You reckon? A
Yeah, I've got
toasty
like little.
brown.
I've got I'll just look like sort of orange, and then I tan quite well, and then like I take my top off, and I'm just like pale. Like this is not a good look.
Yeah. Um, how have you been in general, man? Like you've been well?
Yeah, man, it's been good. I've been doing a lot. Like I've just been reading. I've been reading this book Hooked, and doing holistic lifestyle training, which I think I mentioned uh, previously on another thing we did. But yeah, it's been really good, man. It's just, I mean, it's I think everyone's found it challenging, to say the least, this period. And I've definitely found this period challenging. And even like yesterday, I was like, oh fuck, this is like going on. This is a long time. Obviously, and for anyone out there, I've been injured for 2 years with a neck injury. I'm just coming, like I'm like in the absolute final stages of recovery, but I'm still unable to do the things I want to do. So I'm just biding my time.
Mm.
But it's been good, man. It's been ramping up, starting to feel in the groove.
Yeah, yeah. It's good, man. I'm proud of you, man. Like how you've faced this whole injury, man. It's honestly, I've just, if that was me, I don't know how I'd do it. I don't even know. But you've just, mentally, it was very inspirational the way you've handled the whole thing.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that. But I think it's not even a choice. I think like it's just gotten to the point. I just pushed myself so hard for so long that my whole body, like there was no reserve energy. It was just, and that's what the beautiful thing about it is. In a way, it's taught me about all my weaknesses and all of the ways that I was compensating. It was like you're gonna just have to find another way to live. Like there's just no other way.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's been the beauty of it. It's really taught me to have to find another way of being. It's like if you're in the jungle and
Mm-hmm.
suddenly you have access to all of the trees and all of the things that you are used to, and you're just like, oh, I've got to eat different shit. I've got to like, I'm gonna have to sleep raised off the ground. It's just you just got to adapt.
Yeah,
So that's beautiful.
just like accepting whatever's happened, however it is, you just got to work with it.
That's the first step. Absolute first step is just accepting.
Mm.
Because in the beginning I was just like, I'm not injured. Like
Yeah,
I couldn't do
yeah,
normal shit. Like went
yeah,
clubbing, but I couldn't even turn my neck like 30 degrees.
yeah.
I'm just standing there like Batman from the first movie, just like bobbing. Yeah, so yeah, acceptance is the first thing, but
Yeah.
so
You've got this, man.
it's
Very
been.
close now. Very close to recovery.
Dude, I'm like there. I'm not even injured anymore. I've just got
Yeah.
I'm like rehab stage where I've just got to just get incrementally stronger. The challenge for me is sleeping, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I find it, just getting that rest in, and just, I mean, I eat pretty well, but yeah, just I do. There's some things that I'll eat and they'll make me not sleep
Mm-hmm.
at all, and so I do struggle with that sometimes. And I tend to, if I get low, I'll tend to eat those things,
Mm-hmm.
then not sleep, and then get low, and therefore eat those things.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you've
So
like,
it can become a bit of a cycle, but
yeah,
I'm good. I'm doing well. It's just a battle with my previous addictions.
yeah. I do. Honestly, in terms of food, I think that's something I've realized as well recently, how much it like affects you, like what you eat. Like making you feel sluggish, and you know, I'd wake up and I'd like, I love chicken, so I'd wake up and I'd have breakfast, and then for lunch I'd have like a fat chicken meal, and then I'm sluggish for the rest of the day because my body is just trying to break the chicken down. Um,
Yeah,
And it's like, we're out here eating like KFC because it's just opened up again. Shout out to KFC. But,
Uh,
good chicken, but
Mid the
it's
COVID-19 pandemic, man's just there as KFC.
yeah, literally.
I'm good, man.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, food definitely, makes you feel different.
Yeah, you are. It's cliche, but you are what you eat, but you are what you absorb.
Mm,
And if you're eating a lot of things and there's not much uh, energy in there or potential energy in there, then you're spending a lot of energy digesting it, but not necessarily getting anything back from it. So I can,
yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. There was something I read which said it was something like 40% of digestion needs to happen in your mouth. So that's
damn,
like,
yeah,
you need to like actually chew your food so that because your stomach is just there to finish things off. But we don't do
yeah,
that. We don't do that nowadays. It's like, we gulp food. So I think, and then this guy was saying that's why we are so sluggish because we rush eating. We're like watching telly while we eat, or like, we're on our phones while we eat. So we're not even conscious that we are eating. And when you do that, you swallow food because you want to finish it quickly so you can get back to just resting back and doing whatever it is that you're doing. And I find myself doing that. Um, but just
it's easy to
guys,
do, man.
yeah, guys, just watch what you eat and just bite it, eat it, chew it properly,
Taste it.
taste it, yeah, enjoy it,
Like, for that, it's like you get like some delicious food and you just swallow it. You're just like,
yeah,
I
literally,
mean, but it's easy to do, man. I think the relationship as a culture that we have with food it needs a bit of work, in my opinion.
yeah,
Yeah, but I mean, I've heard that before. Actually, the first mastication being chewing at the
mm,
first stage. But actually, on learn this course that I'm doing, my teacher was saying that actually the first stage is choosing your food, and that's because I mean you
yes,
can chew all you want shit, but if
yeah,
you're chewing shit, you're only going to feel like shit,
exactly,
and
exactly,
you're going to produce shit results. So yeah,
yeah, exactly. And I think that's important for a creative as well. What would you say to like be
oh man,
careful about
yeah,
what you eat?
and mate, anything if you're putting energy into the world, you've got to replenish that, and
Mm,
otherwise you just literally don't have the energy. You've got two ways of getting energy. That's with your food and with your breathing.
mm-hmm.
Um, and if and most people don't breathe properly because
Yeah,
when you eat a lot of processed sugar, it basically acidifies your blood,
mm-hmm.
and so we breathe in a lot more. So we ramp up our breathing in order to alkalize that, so that we reach a neutral pH, which basically
Mm-hmm.
just means that your body's not melting from the inside.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but when you do that, you basically hyperventilate to some degree, and therefore,
Okay.
when you stop using your main respiratory muscles and you completely compensate. So you'll see the people that breathe with like hiked shoulders,
Mm,
and that basically means that if their shoulders are hiking when they're breathing, it basically means that they're putting quite a lot of effort into breathing, but not really getting any sort of they're not getting enough oxygen in when they're doing that
yeah,
as well.
yeah,
So most people breathe like that, and then also most people don't really eat particularly well. So it's great. It's exciting for everyone because actually, like, there's so much potential, and a lot of people don't realize that they've got so much potential. Like, they're going to feel so much better when they sort that out.
mm,
Like, if they're getting decent results now, the results they're getting, regardless of what they're doing, when they start eating properly and breathing properly, it's going to be just out of this world. Like, it's going to feel like another planet.
mm,
So,
mm,
it's going to feel godly. So that'd be
yeah.
amazing.
It's like when you focus on your breathing and you breathe in and breathe out like properly a few times, you actually take time to breathe, you feel it in your body, you just you know you're constantly like, I mean, instantly like more aware. um
Yes.
but imagine feeling that physically, like all over your body, every cell in your body is healthy, and because the food you're eating as well, and your mind works better. um but yeah,
Bliss, and you've just got like a power because you've got the ability. It's like when you're tired and someone asks you to go do something. Sometimes you just know, just there's an empty tank there. You just do not have that.
mm,
Like,
mm,
you can force yourself, but like it doesn't arise up in you. But
yeah,
when you've got that energy just sitting inside of you, you're like just sitting on your throne, and you're like,
yeah,
yeah, I could do
literally,
that. I could do anything. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
literally,
I've got the energy to do whatever I want.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's currency. Yeah, money is just is a form of energy.
Mm. Yeah, definitely. Agreed. It's like, when I used to, man, like I said, I love KFC. I can love KFC, but another thing I find is every time I have KFC, man, like I'm tired, dead.
Yeah,
Like an hour after having KFC, all my motivation is gone. It might be 3 o'clock, but I've had enough for the day. You know what I mean? Like all the extra energy is just gone because my body's processing this processed food, which it doesn't like. It's literally telling me, we don't like this shit. Don't do this again. Otherwise,
yeah.
we're gonna get rid of all the energy next time as well. And I keep doing it because I love chicken, but I mean, there's a healthy way of eating chicken. Um,
I feel that, man. I've got exactly the same. It's hard to change. Like once you're in the habit of doing something, the longer you've been doing it as well, it takes energy and mindfulness to change. Even
yeah,
like I know about all this shit, and like I still make mistakes. They're just absolutely silly. But it's because I'm just being programmed. And so it takes a lot of
yeah,
mindfulness to change that.
yeah. 100%. It's like another thing I'm finding is obviously before I used to go on my phone as soon as I got up. So what I'm trying to do now is not go on my phone until I have breakfast and brush my teeth. And what I realized is as soon as I wake up, my hand automatically goes to the left hand side of my pillow because that's where I used to put my phone. And I'm like, I'm searching,
Yes, mad.
I'm searching for it. But obviously it's not there because I leave it on my table. Yeah, but that action of me searching for it made me realize that there's a bloody problem here. I was like, okay, shit, like this is a problem. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Um,
humans are like there's some degree of us that is animal in its nature, and it's you can use example of like you've got a litter tray and you've trained a dog to go to the litter tray in like one corner of the house, and then you've done it for like a few weeks, and they're happy and they're going to the toilet in that litter tray, and then you move one day, just move the litter tray to the other corner of the house. Your
mm,
dog's going to keep going in the
yeah,
same corner.
yeah,
He's not going to go in the litter tray. He's just going to go in that corner that
yeah,
it was in. So
yeah,
habits powerful, man.
exactly, exactly. But we can overpower these if we want to. But it's just
And
how
that's the
much
key.
do
You've
you
just
want to? Yeah,
got to have that reason to. Yeah.
yeah. You can't. Yeah, that's another thing as well. So many times I try to give up, like smoking as well. Or just to be using my phone so much. If it's like if you just wake up one morning and say, you know what, I'm gonna stop doing this. 99% of the time, it doesn't work because you've got no like reason to stop doing it. But if you like understand why you want to not why you don't want to do this anymore, I don't know. It's like again, it's like understanding. You're like using your mind to like and your intelligence to make a decision, whereas just saying, "Oh, this is bad for me. I'm gonna quit." Because that I don't know. For me, it just never works because I just go back into it straight away. I don't
That's
know what
yeah.
you
I mean,
find.
that's like this. That's the potential energy, isn't it? It's like you've now you've made the statement. You're like, okay, I'm going to quit, and then the next thing is to like that's the next thing. You've got to have someone you're going. You've got to like create that tension relay. It's like you've got to like latch on your rope to something, so you've got
Mm,
someone to pull against, and someone's pulling it towards you, because otherwise you're just sort of like in this void of like
yeah.
shit. Like, what do I do next? And
What do I
that's
do next?
mind a pause, a vacuum.
Exactly.
Um, yeah, so just figuring out exactly why you'll want to change, and then it's going to hurt. You've got like the part of it is that when you make a change, it's going to be a bit uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be like an itch that you can't scratch,
Yeah.
or it can be worse, in more extreme cases. And it's just when you connect that pain
Yeah.
to the reason that you're changing,
Mm-hmm.
you can give that pain meaning,
Yeah.
which actually so you realize that like in every moment you are becoming, by enduring that pain, you're becoming what you want to be. And so
Mm.
that pain becomes like a reward. Like it's like when you go to the
Yeah.
gym and you lift weights, you're like, that's good. You're like, this is good pain,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
because it's got meaning, because you're like, oh, I'm going to get bigger muscles, I'm
Bigger
going to be
muscles.
strong.
Yeah. And
But
I
if
don't know.
it's
It's
just
like
pain, you're like,
yeah.
fuck that. I'm just
Yeah.
going to just yeah,
Yeah.
do
You don't
whatever.
want that. You don't want that. And that's another thing as well. It's like um obviously using your phone less means you have more time. But I think that's something we don't really recognize. We don't give him importance. We don't give value to time because we all always think that it's the other person's who's gonna die. you know, I never think about me dying, but I think other people are gonna die. um,
Yeah.
reality of it is that we die as well. So it's like the time that's given to us. It's like, all right, take that shit seriously, because even if you lose track of time, your body is constantly keeping time. Your organs, they're getting older every day. And that's,
And
time.
they
What do
get
you
better or
time?
whatever.
What? Sorry, go on.
I was just gonna say, like, you're getting better at what you do every day as well.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, say you just put 10 minutes a day, and that becomes like a habit. In the same way as like checking your phone, like, over, like, do the maths, like 10 times 30, 10 times 30 times 12. Like, that's a lot of
that's
minutes
a lot of
into
minutes.
whatever you're doing in a year. And over the years, that creates a master over time.
Exactly, and that's what that's what I think we're all doing at the moment, because we're spending so much time on our phones and on, like, watching telly. We're masters at being lazy. We are the
Yeah.
we are the king of being lazy. We don't. No one needs to teach us to be lazy. It's like, you'll say, if you go up to someone and say, "Yo, do you want me to teach you to be lazy? Can you teach me to be lazy?" They'll just sit down and be like, "Just, sit with me. Let's watch some telly." That's how easy it is to be lazy. But to actually get up and get up and do something, that's 10 times harder, especially when you've been lazy like 14, 15. If you've been practicing being lazy for 15 years of your life, and you think somehow overnight you're going to be active, it's like, come on, are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's the mind. That's the mind versus, like, so you've got like an ego, which is your idea of yourself, and then you've got like the reality, which is like your physical body and like your wiring, as if you're like an electrical system.
Hmm.
And the ego isn't necessarily aware of the wiring.
Hmm.
It's like, no, I can do this, and then it's like pulling against, like, I don't know, like 20 aeroplanes worth of wiring. It's like
Yeah.
pulling in the other direction. It's like, oh shit, I'm gonna have to, like, just,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to chip away at these
Yeah.
every
And
day.
yeah, and but
Over time, it gets easy.
it does get easier over time. The more you do it, again, it's like practice. Um, Tell me about your podcast. Tell me about
Ooh,
the podcast. Tell
based
us.
so man, I mean, I've been wanting to do this for years. Like, I've just it's I often will just be like, and then again, like, that's an ego thing,
Wait, sorry,
but it will just
repeat
not
that.
happen. But
Sorry. Repeat that really quick.
so
It broke out.
so often I'll just decide that I'm going to do something, say like a podcast or a project, and I'll just be like, yeah, this is going to happen.
Hmm.
And I'll just be like, okay, all chips on the table, like, I'm going in. And then if reality sets in, and I'm just like, okay, it's obviously not the right idea. But I do find that a lot of the time these ideas, if they come from the right place, if they're arising from me, as opposed to like, oh, I've seen a cool podcast before, and therefore I'll make money off that, doing that. And that's I think that's might be a motivation for some people, but I think that's maybe not an authentic motivation is going to yield long-term results. But anyway, so I felt like this came from a good place. I've just been waiting for the right time to
Hmm.
uh, initiate first stages. And yeah, so recently I was just like, oh yeah, it's time.
Yeah.
It was just time. So yeah, so it's the Tree Spirit podcast. And I'm going to be interviewing interesting people that I believe have strong personal values, and that also have a story to tell.
Hmm.
Because I believe we all have, there's a mythological level to all of us, in terms of we all have our own idea um, of where we're going and where we've come from.
Hmm.
And if you wrote that down, that does look a little bit like a myth. Like, there is a sort
Yeah.
of like, some people think of themselves more like Batman. And when you think of yourself like that, you do tend to, if you believe that, you do tend to act like that.
Hmm.
So you tend to carve a path through your life. And I'm interested, I based it kind of on The Hero's Journey by Joseph Campbell,
Hmm.
which is basically the idea that there is a path, there is a narrative through that runs through all of the human cultures. If you look at any of the myths, there's always a pathway that is run in the same way. There's the hero's path,
Hmm.
and it's got different stages, but basically it's archetypal in terms of it's an energy. Um, it's an energy that is transcends culture. It's more of a thing that is just human, and we tend to run through the same circumstances of events and come out with the result.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like a machine. Like if you put a hero in this machine, then it goes through these steps and it produces
Mm-hmm.
a hero in quote marks. And I found that really interesting because you'll find it in all the Greek myths, they all go through the same stages of initiation and meeting the father and then coming back and, bringing the life-giving fruit or whatever to the village that they came from.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wanting to meet people that I think are on their hero's journey in order to kind of just inspire other people to start that. And for other people that are already on that journey, I wanted to just kind of give them a little bit of a booster and just kind of little other avenues to discover.
Yeah.
Because I think now's the right time for people to just go and do that thing that you're afraid of.
Mm-hmm.
Go and do that thing that you've been wanting to do, but you kind of refused. Refusal to the call is one of the first stages of the hero's journey, and so a lot of people are refusing the call right now. I'm kind of like wanting to
Wake it up. Wake
yeah,
up.
just think about it, man.
Yeah.
Just try it. Just
Yeah.
step out. It's like what's it? Sam Ganji and leaving the Shire. He's like, Mr. Frodo, this is the first I've ever been from home. And Mr. Frodo's like, come on, mate, come on.
Yeah, that's good.
And he's just off. He's off, and there's no hesitation. He's off to Mordor.
Yeah.
Carrying Frodo, killing spies.
Yeah, that's very inspiring. The whole concept of the podcast is very interesting, and I can't wait to hear your episodes. And how you laying them out? How you thinking up? How are you gonna upload? Is it gonna be an episode a week, or what are you thinking?
I'm gonna do so. Basically, right now, my plan is to just record a bunch. So I'm gonna probably record like about 5 to 10, and just make that a series, and I'll release them weekly once
Okay.
I've had them all edited, so that I can work on the next series. So might be a bit of a break between series, but they'll come out quite consistently.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So probably expect series 1 to be done sometime between mid-August and the beginning of September, I imagine.
Okay.
That's speculative, but I think that that'll probably be the case.
Yeah.
And then they'll just be out, and then we'll be off.
Yeah, that's it, man. I'm excited, really excited for that. Really excited for
Yeah.
the whole series to come out. And yeah, I mean, where did your want to do a podcast arise from? Would you say?
I've always really listened to, well, not always. I started listening when I was 15 to podcasts. One of the first one was London Real. I don't know if I think
Yeah,
I've
of course. Yeah, yeah. Love.
yeah. So I just got really interested in sort of this space and the Ricky Gervais podcast as well. I just loved it. I was at the time I was very lonely, and so I left school when I was 15 for the last time.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't have, obviously everyone else is still in the education system, so they're not really
Yeah.
doing their own thing at that point. So having left, I sort of just drifted out, and people did forget that I existed.
We
And
did it,
so
man.
I
We
spent,
got you.
yeah, you got me, but at the time it felt like that anyway. And so I was spending a lot of time just walking around, sort of thinking about what I was going to do, and that became really, listening to London Real and podcasts like that sort of became substitute friends, but also it became like, oh, I'm not only am I hanging around with like people that I'm getting to know, and I'm sort of just listening in on this conversation. I feel part of it,
Yeah.
but these guys are a lot older, and they're kind of where I want to be in a way. So it really kind of gave me a sense of direction
Yeah.
and inspiration. I also got into YouTube vlogging, sort of fitness vlogging. So I was really into fitness at the time, and watching these guys, they sort of did a similar sort of situation. They just talked to the camera, and I was just sort of felt like I was talking to a mate. And so I absorbed a lot of their knowledge and just sort of their attitude, and that really helped me. So since then, it was just an obvious progression for me to be like, I want to just, I've got to do that. I've got to do what they've done for me for other people, I think.
Mate, that's beautiful. That's absolutely amazing. That's such a,
It's fun,
yeah, yeah. Like it really means something to you, this whole series, doing this.
100%.
And
Yeah. I mean, if you can live a life with meaning, I think you've won.
yeah, 100%. I agreed. I, I think we can both. I think everyone listening will agree to that as well. you just have, if you have a goal, it's easier. It's easier. It makes more sense. It's like you're working towards something. You feel like there's again, meaning to why you're here.
Yes. Yeah, the suffering. I think there's pain. Pain is when you are working towards something, and it's the resistance towards that.
Mm,
But suffering is when you are being hurt and there's you don't feel like there's a reason for it, so you feel like you're being punished,
yeah,
and that is a different game, and that is not one that I would wish upon anyone.
yeah, 100%. Suffering, man, that's a podcast on its own.
Yeah, well, you can, we could, yeah, we'll get on that at some point.
Yeah,
That is a timely topic.
that is. I think a lot of people need to hear that as well, because there's a lot
But
of
one
that in the
thing,
world.
one thing about suffering is that you can turn that into, you can give that meaning. You endow that with meaning by connecting it to what makes you tick, what speaks to you,
Mm,
what is your dream, like your authentic dream, like what in your heart do you just love and you really want to do. Like that might just be a short-term thing, but
mm,
losing 20 pounds will just be, if you can, that'll give the gym the meaning, and that,
mm,
so eventually that becomes a habit. And if you endure suffering and turn that to meaning, and you endure that resistance for a period of time, it just becomes the way you live. And so it stops being
mm.
a perpetual cycle where you're suffering and therefore you pull out, and therefore you're suffering and therefore you start again and then you pull out. Or
Exactly.
if you, yeah,
It's your whole life. Suffering will happen your whole life, really. No matter how positive you are, there will be something that will pull you down.
pain will happen your whole life.
Yeah, it will. It's a part of life. I think that's what we get confused about. It's like, oh, suffering shouldn't happen. Suffering needs to happen. It needs to happen for your brain to function properly. You need to like if you're functioning properly, you are suffering. You know what I mean? It's like it's a part of life. If you're happy, you're sad. You have to be sad. Like if it's sunny today, it's got to rain tomorrow. Otherwise, we're all dead. Um,
It's interesting. Chogyam Trungpa, who's a Tibetan spiritual teacher, talked about. He said the warrior always carries sadness in his heart,
yeah,
um, and that is said that is the greatest joy that you could ever experience. That heavy sadness that gives everything uh, sort of a glow. It's like gives everything love, but it's like a responsibility that he carries in the heart.
yeah. I find if you like, if I don't know, it's like if you understand your suffering and you give it love and you actually like give it time and you understand why you're suffering, why you're feeling like shit, it can become powerful for you because you know how to use that suffering, and other people can't make you suffer because you know how to deal with it, if you know what I mean. So like for me, if someone says something, it doesn't affect me anymore because I've learned through suffering, obviously, through years of suffering, I've learned that the only reason I was suffering was because I gave them meaning. um and I thought what they said was important, but at the end of the day, it wasn't important. It's like, is it like, what we talk about? Yes, it's important, but is it really that important at the same time? Is it really like, do we need to take everything personally? Like, we can pick and choose. So it's like, we pick things that make us happy and we stick with those. But for some reason, things that make us negative, we run away from, like, or make us feel sad. We never face them and say, why is it doing this to me? We don't take a second and be like, yo, like, this shit is making me sad. Why is it? We don't sit down, because I used to do it. I would never sit down and be like, why am I sad? Why am I feeling this way? I would just, I don't know, watch telly or go to bed, or, that was the way forward. But if you understand, and if you give yourself time and you put that time into yourself and love yourself, and, just understand, really, it just becomes that much easier. Like, suffering becomes your friend, not your enemy.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, it can become an ally.
yeah,
It becomes a teacher.
Teacher. Yeah, that's it. Teacher.
Yeah. And I suppose it's like maybe you gave, it was important because you gave them that importance, and maybe that was, maybe that was what was right, and
Yeah.
it could have led to more suffering that actually like taught you the most important lessons of your life, and
Yeah.
so yeah, I think you're right that maybe suffering is important because it teaches us what we don't want.
Yeah.
Um, as long as we take that, and then we're not just suffering unnecessarily
Hmm.
because we didn't need to. Now, it maybe some people believe in. I mean, I also believe in a perfect universe. There's things can't be out of place because everything depends on each other. It's a
Mm.
completely interdependent universe. And that's my personal belief. And proven by science, just saying. but but we don't need. I don't think that we need to suffer. I think it's part of the human journey is to learn how not to suffer and how to live in joy and in love, because it's the most easeful state of being, but also the most productive state of being,
Mm.
and the state of being that connects us to everything else, which is, and connecting to what is ultimately going to be the most reliable, um, philosophical system,
Yeah.
because that is unchanging,
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. That's very strong. That's very powerful.
or changes amongst, is the principle of unchanging is the unchanging.
Is the unchanging. Yeah. That's man. Yeah. It's we don't really think about suffering. Um. And like I said, I think that's a problem there because it's like it's a problem. Why are we not fixing it? It's like it's almost like we're happy just you know being there.
The
Um.
devil we know is better than the devil we don't know for a lot of people, for
Yeah.
everyone, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, Unless you're looking for that devil you don't know, because you know that that's probably going to be where the growth is.
Mm. Mm. Step in. Tell me about your art as well.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, man. I don't. It's funny. I used to consider myself an artist, and now I just sort of I'm moving away from that a little bit. I still write music, and I still play, and I still occasionally write poetry, and I have like waves where I'm just inspires, and there's something that I want to say or I want to document, and so I put it down. It's an emotion I want to capture.
Mm-hmm.
Or sometimes I even just do it because I'm just like, the blog's feeling a bit empty.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I want to give these people something. So it's almost like a little, I almost see it now as just a little way of, I love doing it, but it's also just a little way of giving something out into the universe that is just, someone might like
Content.
it. And so it's kind of nice
Content
to feel
creation.
like I'm just doing something.
Yeah.
And it's also, I like doing it. So it's like a bit of it's a nice hobby.
Yeah.
But I've really taken a step away from that into sort of being more rational. I suppose I'm sort of moving into a more rational space,
Mm-hmm.
but not that I'm leaving creativity behind, but more that I'm trying to structure my life in a way that is testable and is yielding results that are measurable,
Mm-hmm.
and therefore my creativity is just more of a way of working both sides of my brain, so that my life is enjoyable and creative, but also measurably improving. And I'm looking back and I'm like, oh yeah, no, I'm definitely, the steps that I've taken, I've tested things out. And I think part of that is because I have a real teacher's archetype inside me, in terms of I I naturally fall into the role of a teacher often in my life. And so I think for me, I want to level myself up progressively so that I can teach people. You can't really teach people that are above you. You can teach that say, me teaching someone that was much fitter than me would sort of be a bit strange, or someone
Mm-hmm.
that me teaching someone that was better. Me teaching someone the guitar that was better guitar than me. It doesn't make any sense. So
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want to be able to expand my audience and to grow and really practice what I preach, so that I can reach a greater audience in terms of teaching,
Mm-hmm.
and just so that I can live a more enjoyable life.
Yeah.
I spend a lot of time enjoying my suffering. and
Yeah.
now I feel ready not to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Moving forward.
Yeah, and not that that's. I think that there's a for an artist as well, and I'm speaking for myself, but I do observe it sort of uh, occasionally in artists, which is just enjoy. There's a romanticism attached to being in pain and being the tortured artist.
Yeah.
And there's a lot, there's a lot of poetry written about it, and that is a state you can live in, and some people enjoy it. It's almost like a sense of, and I enjoyed it. Like I can be quite masochistic. Like I really will push myself to feel to the point where I'm feeling pain, so that I feel alive, and so that I feel productive. It's like I'm addicted to the endorphins that gives me, and so there was to fall into that is a tendency for myself, and I didn't really, as much as I could. You could just live there, but I don't think that's what I want for myself. And I don't think, if I was to talk more esoterically, I think that's not what my soul, my deepest potential, is kind of inclined towards.
That's interesting because my my when my favorite work comes out when I'm not happy, when I'm like sad, but it's not because the physical world needs to do something. You can like choose to just be sad.
Mm.
Yeah. It's like tapping it.
Yes.
I just remember a memory, or like, to something that happens like 2 3 years ago, which made me really, really sad. I'll just remember it, and I'll go back to that. Like, I'll go back to that emotion. And as soon as I tap into that emotion, I can like, I don't know, it's a different, that's when my ideas flow in. If I'm happy and I'm smiling, yes, I can, I can come up with ideas, but the ideas which like really make me like identify myself are the ones which come out when I'm like, when I'm vulnerable, because like I feel vulnerable when I'm sad. Like I'm aware of what's
Yeah.
happening around me. So then whatever comes out is like just, you know it's like truth is, and the fear just doesn't exist, because I already know I'm in a vulnerable place and I'm already doing something vulnerable, and I'm choosing. Like when you choose to be somewhere, especially somewhere sad, and you've said to yourself, I this is where I want to be so I can create art, then it just comes. I don't know what it is. And I've heard a lot of artists as well say this, that, their best work comes when something shit has happened in their lives, or if they're, going through something.
Yeah,
Why do you think that
that
is?
sounds like the like a warrior poet sort of archetype, in terms of like uh, fight going towards your deepest fear in order to conquer it.
Mm,
That you're doing that through art or music or rapping,
mm-hmm.
um, and I think that's great. Like, if that, all I'd say is like, if as long as you're happy, like as long as you feel fulfilled doing that and you feel full,
Mm,
like that's it. That's your journey, that's your path.
yeah,
And it's always, it's always individual. It wouldn't be right for me to be a banker, but some
yeah,
people would just,
100%.
and it might be, it might be a period. There's periods, and I might move back into being the torch artist, and
Yeah.
that might feel really right, because
Mm,
it might be what I need to say for someone to hear it. That is going to be the next Abraham Lincoln. It might be
yeah,
that the world works in mysterious ways.
yeah,
So it
exactly.
might just be what I need to put out there for the world to have that.
Have that, exactly. And I think that's like, when people might be like, yo, why would you choose to be in an unhappy place? Like, why would you choose to do something like that? But it's like, when let's like, when you record a podcast about something sad, or like, about something that's happened in the past, you're not gonna, you know the best way to express it is to put yourself in that position again, I find, so that you can like fully talk about it from what you went through, not just what you're thinking now of what you went through.
Yeah, you're experiencing it in the now.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I think being able to like choose when to be happy and when to be sad is extremely powerful, because then the outside world doesn't have any effect on your emotions, because it's like, if someone says something and you want to feel sad, you can feel sad if you want, but like 2 minutes later, you're like, oh, they're just chatting shit, and then you'll be happy again because you're choosing.
Also, you're not afraid of the fear. You're not
Yeah,
afraid to feel the fear. You're like, I can go there. Like if someone's like threatening you, you're like, I can go there if you want, man. Like I'm
yeah,
not. I feel the fear, and it becomes. I heard someone say the other day, it's like a passenger as
mhm,
opposed to the actual plane. You know, it
yeah,
becomes just something that's riding with you. Like you like, oh, there's a bit of fear. I know that is just on my shoulder. Yeah, it doesn't control you.
yeah,
I mean, that's a beautiful place to. That's a real power, and a lot of people just so they're scared of feeling their fear, so it becomes like a cringe whenever they feel fear, like this is all just avoiding it. But yeah,
yeah,
but being able to face it is freedom ultimately. It's because if you're unable to face things that make you uncomfortable, then you're missing out on most of the world.
yeah,
uh, if
exactly.
not opportunities to connect with other people who are beautiful, even
Yeah,
if they are struggling.
exactly. And when you are in a vulnerable place, you meet the most beautiful people because they are just, they're just as vulnerable as you. It's like, if I'm in a weird mood, I don't know if you find it, if I'm in a weird mood or if I'm sad and I might be at a party but I'm feeling a little off, I won't go to the people who are looking happy. I'll always go to the people who are like, looking a little down. And then
Yeah.
I'm friends with those people for the rest of my life. I don't, I
Mm.
don't I don't know what it is. It's like when you meet someone that they're vulnerable, it's like you can connect with them because they're not trying to like be somebody else. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, and you're not trying to. I mean, you didn't. You could have gone. You could have just been like, "Ah, oh, fuck it, I'm just ignore that feeling of being off and gone and like tried put on a face for these
Yeah.
guys."
Yeah.
But you were like, "Nah, do you know what? I'm not going to do that because actually I'm all right with being a little bit off today, and I'm just
Mm.
going to own it." And then you met more people. You made more friends.
Yeah.
That's the real power.
That is. And
You become, again, as you said, you become hard to you become sovereign of your choices. The
mhm,
choices aren't made for you because you're willing to look at all of the options. You can't make a decision that you're not aware of,
yeah,
and you can't
exactly.
become aware of it if you're too scared to look at it.
Yeah.
And that's this fear of fear that
Yeah.
causes you to cringe and not look at the things that are possibilities.
Hmm. Yeah, man. Um, yeah, I think we'll just wrap it up there. It's been a
Beautiful, man.
interesting one. It's been, we've gone from one thing to another like we always do. Um,
Yeah.
all the time.
Love it.
Yeah. But thank you so much for coming on, and we'll put the link to your Tree Spirit podcast in
Yes.
the
Beautiful.
bio or whatever they call it, man. I still don't get what it's called, but yeah, description. Um,
Yes.
and we will come out another podcast soon.
Sounds good, man. Love it.
Yeah.
Always down for doing podcasts.
Yes, we always are. We love talking.
Yeah, man.
You know.
Sure. Always interesting. Opens my mind.
Yeah.
It's a bit it's like just stimulates little parts of my mind that haven't
Yeah.
been wakes me up. That's
Yeah.
why I need this coffee. It's like I just wake up and Surf's just like, what's the point in life? I'm like, oh.
What's the point in life? Yeah.
No, I love it, man. I love it.
Yeah, that's a question for another time. Actually, think on that
That'll
one.
be next podcast. What's the
Yeah.
point in life? And I'll
What's the
explain
point in life?
the point.
Yeah, man. Yeah. All right. Let's not get into that now. Okay. Thank you so much, man. I'll talk to you soon. Yeah.
Thanks for having me, man. Cool. Catch you
No
in a bit.
worries. Thank you. Bye.